Do you want to reenact the duel between Eric and Eric?
Brother!
Oh God!
I don't know if the cameras can see that.
We clashed blades.
Touch
just
tips. Touch tips.
We're touching tips now. Ooh!
Oh!
Wow!
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, we saw episode 2. Let's just start, scene by scene. It's basically just a kind of montage of like the reaction to Jaehaerys' death when Criston Cole is like kind of walking through the castle. I think you can kind of already tell he's like, oh shit, I fucked up.
Oh no.
The highlight was then leading to the scene where Aegon is in his his father's old room where he built all those models.
Yep.
Completely destroying everything.
Which hurt, as a fan of Legos, hurt my soul. You know how long Viserys took building that? He was he was Joe Biden's age when he finally finished.
What I was going to get to, the reason why I like it so much is because Viserys, as you said, he took years.
Yes.
Building this model up of his kingdom, right? And there was so much care and detail put into it, showing that to create something beautiful or with heart, it takes time, like a lot of time and a lot of effort. But to destroy something can be like in an instant.
After Aegon unfortunately destroyed one of the greatest Lego sets known to men, R.I.P. I'm sorry, Viserys, for your hard work and years on that. That looked amazing.
Yes.
The scene right after, the council scene, where Otto Hightower is the only one that is speaking logic, in my opinion.
Right.
I think this is his episode, to be honest with you. I think he is the one that shows not the most humanity, but the most diligence under pressure and diligence under a horrendous, terrible time. And he seems to be the only person that is thinking politically and logically. He knows what the people are going to think based on Aegon's rule, and so he wants to seize the opportunity, but at the same time, he understands how Aegon, how his mother, how his wife/sister are feeling, but he knows that they can't dwell on that because time's a-wasting. Rhaenyra is getting her army ready to go, and there is a war brewing. They got to act now and get the people on their side. In many ways, you could put the same thing on Alicent. Alicent is trying to, in her way, make the best political moves possible, but at the same time, she's not being a good mother, and this episode amplifies that tremendously.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think like 2 times she has failed big time. The first time is in the small council. Or so after Otto basically tells them what they're going to do, essentially. Like, no, we're going to use Jaehaerys' death as a political move to besmirch Rhaenyra. Yeah. Of course, Aegon is like, fuck no. Yeah. We are not using my little boy's body. We're not going to parade it or whatever, right?
And I'm so sorry to interrupt, but like just piggybacking on that one point for a second that Aegon says, I'm happy they made him say my little boy. And the fact that it did seem like a second, like my heir, my legacy.
Because he was doing that at first.
Right. Yeah. But then he says my little boy. Mm-hmm. And it just shows that there is still empathy.
Yes.
But yeah.
When Aegon then being told this, that this is what Otto is going to do, what he wants to do, Aegon, he looks to his Alicent, his mom, and says, he says, mother, as of please, make this stop.
Please.
We cannot do this, right?
Your child is reaching out to you. Please help my suffering.
And Alicent, of course, pulls the Otto move. Mm-hmm. Whereas no, I agree, this is shitty, but we got to do it. Yeah. It makes the most sense. That's how she failed as a mother the first time.
The very next scene.
So the next way that Alicent fails is when she's with Helena. Mm-hmm. Okay, Helena's like, I don't want to do this. Yeah. And Alicent's trying to explain why we need to do it, and Helena's like, I don't care. I don't want them to be closer to me. Yeah. This is not. I don't want them to see my grief. I don't want them to see my son paraded in the cities. Things like that. But Alicent is firm about it. And yeah, that's strike 2. Second time she failed as a mom.
And she completely deflected the situation by trying to get her daughter to say, by the way, what you saw last night and me riding the stallion.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a yeah, I used the C word, by the way. Dude, holy shit. And of course, Alicent's as soon as she's basically done explaining why they need to do this and we are doing this, she's like, by the way, that thing you saw, mm-hmm. And of course, Helena's like, No, I don't even. I don't even care about that.
Yeah.
Like,
No, she deflects that by saying
yes,
like, "This
yeah.
is for my boy."
Yes.
Yeah. Like, this is not about you at all. This
I know,
is about
this is
like
what
a grieving
yes,
mom, and
I
you're
agree.
trying to make it political.
Yeah. Hence why I was like she doesn't care about that. It's like I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Like this is not about you. This is about my dead son. Oh, God.
Piece of crap redhead mom.
Oh, dude. Yeah. No. Alicent is just such a. Here's the big thing, right? So because Alicent, she is trying to navigate her children as Otto did to her.
Yes.
Right. And here's the thing. Alicent is a miserable human being. And she's miserable because she had to do what Otto told her. Right? Otto is the big reason why Alicent is a depressed, sad, pathetic creature.
Yeah.
Okay? And yes, people will argue, well, yeah, like that's why she's sympathetic, stuff like that. She was dealt a terrible hand. And you're right. I was sympathetic towards her. She was dealt a terrible hand. But at the end of the day, she's making the same awful decisions that her father did to her.
Yeah.
But now the other standout scene between Daemon and Rhaenyra. Oh yeah, man, the acting on display is fantastic.
It's such a perfect display of characters that you completely understand both sides of the equation. Both of them act brilliantly. All the dialogue is completely within each character.
Yeah.
The argument goes exactly how you think it should go. Every character point is hit perfectly. Every point is understood, from Rhaenyra's frustration with Daemon, not being able to trust him, really throughout their entire marriage, and understandably so. Daemon's like a wild card, but also Daemon's like desire to act and to just say like, and again, you could totally say in the last episode, like he took the look that she gave him, not saying that Rhaenyra's at fault for this because she didn't say anything directly, but at the same time, like he took that as like, all right, time to commit atrocities.
Yes.
But again, he acted without the consent of the crown, and because of that, because of the ununified ability for them to act together, now they're suffering the consequences, and now another kid is dead and not the person that they were wanting. Rhaenyra wants to pursue the best angle possible.
Yeah.
But again, she is also, similar to Alicent, just trapped right now. She's trapped in the midst of having to protect her image from Rhaenyra the Cruel, which you heard the people saying during the funeral scene, which was the next scene.
Yeah, the whole funeral thing, basically just parading a dead child throughout the city.
And horrified that they showed the kid.
Oh yeah, especially with like the stitching from the neck to like connect the head.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I will say, this could just be me. I did kind of think, like, second time I watched it with you, I was like, does the head look fake? I don't know why I thought that. I legit don't know why I thought that.
I think it's just because the Silent Sisters, they're the ones that like take care of the dead bodies.
Yeah.
They're going to perfume it up and make it
right.
up.
I don't know. When I was looking at the head, I was like, that looks kind of fake. I don't know why I thought that.
I think the fakeness freaked me out a little even more, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
maybe. Because the first time I didn't even notice it, but the second time I was like, wait.
Yeah.
But again, not saying that's like a terrible thing or anything like that. I just was perplexed by it for a moment before I just moved on from it.
Later on in the episode when he's being cradled,
brothel, yes.
being cradled by the whore.
Which is interesting, by the way.
Yeah, it is interesting for a couple reasons. One of the things is he feels guilty for the death of Lucerys Velaryon.
Luke, yeah.
Yeah, Luke Velaryon. I like that we had a scene of him admitting guilt, admitting that he did not want to do that. He also admits that he very much has a high opinion of Daemon, and that he views that Daemon sent an assassin after him because he thinks that Daemon thinks that he's a huge threat, which he is. He has the biggest dragon in the world, but I think he very much holds his uncle Daemon in such a high regard that he almost views their like battle to come as like intended, destined by the gods. Like this is going to be like the war, because Daemon was what Aemond was before Aemond was Aemond.
Yeah.
Because Daemon was with Caraxes and like the battle of like the crab feeder and everything. Like Daemon was the big powerhouse, and then Aemond came along, had Vhagar, and he's a really good sword now. And so now there's this little tension between those two characters where I don't necessarily think Daemon thinks of Aemond the exact same way. I think he thinks him as a little lower than him, but Aemond like sees the older version of him, Daemon, and is like, I want to be like you. And so the fact that he views the assassin as coming after him is like, I'm almost honored.
Now, the other thing I like about the brothel scene is that he doesn't want carnal pleasure per se or anything. Like, what he wants is motherly affection.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy, but understandable.
Yes, but showing again that Alicent is a shitty fucking mom. You cannot defend this woman.
No.
She sucks at parenting. She is awful.
And she had and again, to combine a scene, I completely agree with you, to combine a scene later on.
Yes, the other
where,
really good scene.
Yeah, she had a completely perfect opportunity to comfort her grieving son because she enters the room, and I don't think she expected this. Aemond was just in tears, bawling.
Because again, so was this part I didn't quite understand. So like, was this her room or was it
Aegon's room?
It was Aegon's room.
I think my theory is that she went in there with the intention to try and talk to her son and
to basically guide him, essentially. So yes, here's the thing that I really like about that scene, because when you look at this is the third time she has failed as a mother.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I was alluding to. The third time. You look at that scene, and you look at a different scene from the first episode between Rhaenyra and her son.
Oh yeah.
Think about this, right? What makes it so striking, Alicent's incapability of being a mother, of basically helping her son grieve or be there for her son, is that Rhaenyra was in a very similar situation. And not only that, but she herself was grieving.
Yeah.
Because she lost her baby boy. She lost her son. Rhaenyra, when she sees that her son is, breaking down, the first instinct is, there's no time for politics. I'm not a queen right now. I am a mother. Alicent, when put in that same situation, she's incapable of being able to help her son mourn.
Nope.
She's not, she cannot display affection. And it's so heartbreaking.
And it's obvious that she can't do to Aemond either, because he has to seek a brothel.
He has to go to a brothel,
because he's talking to her like he would a mother. He's opening up to a chick at a brothel. Yep. And he's not wanting the chick goes for like affection, like turn into a man, and is like, nope, not now, cradle time.
I'm not being a man right now.
Nope.
I need to be a child.
I need to be cradled. Yes. And it's creepy, but it's
so creepy and it's so sad.
It's so sad. Yeah. It's so pathetic and sad.
It's pathetic in a sad way.
It is, and you just know that both of these kids just needed a mother, and Alicent just can't be that because, like you said, she goes in there to counsel him. But she doesn't know how to be a mother, so she's left flabbergasted.
She's there to counsel him, to be a guiding hand, but she's not there to guide him through loss.
Yeah.
So when Criston Cole goes into the room, and he is basically being reminded and gazing upon his failure, and they're disassembling like the crib, all that stuff, or the bed, and when one of the servants takes the white mattress, right? Which, hey, Criston Cole wears a white cloak.
Yeah.
Pure and all that, because you see the mattress is all pure and everything, pure white like his cloak. And then when the servant picks it up and is dragging it, you see the stained blood. And that is the exact moment that we as the audience, because we're seeing this from Criston Cole's perspective. When we see that the dried blood, Criston Cole is so ashamed that he can't look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's seen plenty of blood. He's seen plenty of bloodshed.
Yeah.
But this is something that this is his fuck up.
Guilt.
And he is so guilty of it. And for a moment, I'm like, oh, Criston Cole, I'm so sorry, buddy. Like, I feel for him for that one scene because it's so well directed and well acted.
Yeah.
But again, Criston Cole, he looks away in shame. And the scene after that is where Alicent is in her room, right? And she asks, like, have you told anyone? And Criston Cole, his response is like, what do you think? And he's like, what?
Who do you take me for?
But again, also showing just how inherently selfish Alicent is as well.
Oh, yeah. Immediately, trying to protect her pride amidst her shame. Like, did you tell anyone? It's like, of course I wouldn't.
Not even really considering or caring that, how this could affect Criston Cole, because this is also, because it's kind of on him. 5 days in or something like that, as, commander of the... captain of the King's Guard.
He sleeps with the queen, and the heir to the throne dies on his watch.
Yeah, ooh, not starting strong.
No.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Pretty crappy, dude. Well done. But then he immediately, and again, he's a total douche for doing this, But even with his racking guilt, I know why he's doing it. He goes after one of the other Kingsguard.
Yeah.
And I think he's just telling him what he wants to tell himself. You have dirtied your cloak.
Yeah.
Criston Cole has dirtied his cloak. You have failed the crown. Criston Cole has failed and banged the crown in one day.
He fucked over. He bent the crown over, literally and figuratively.
Quite literally, screwed over the crown in many ways.
Oh, God.
You know why he's doing. He's a total tool.
Yeah.
Criston Cole is a total cuck. He's a total tool for doing this. But he's like, the kid's just racked with unbelievable guilt with the scene, and he wants to take it out. But he can't take it on himself because that would mean sacrificing his dignity instead of doing the honorable thing and stepping down. He takes that on somebody else and tells him to go.
Eric.
Yeah.
With an A, I think.
Yeah. Goes, yeah, that guy. Why? But then tells him to like, oh, go infiltrate the other palace and kill Rhaenyra.
Eric's like, what? And I look, Chris is like, oh, it's like not feeling like brave or whatever. It's like, it's not about bravery. Like,
yeah.
This is certain death, my guy.
This is a castle. I'm going to die.
And like Criston Cole's plan, he's just like, yeah, just infiltrate as your brother Eric with an E. And of course, Eric's like, what if we're seen together? And Chris is like, don't let that happen. He's like, oh, no shit.
Yeah.
No shit, Kristen.
I don't think you've thought this plan through.
Oh,
Walk me through this a little bit.
Like, because when I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, like, what a dumb plan.
Yeah.
This is not thought out well at all. But fuck it. Criston Cole, he's not a strategist.
Yeah.
In this sense, right?
For me, that leads well into the next scene.
The next good scene.
The rat catchers have all been hanged.
Yes.
Not the one that was responsible, just all the rat catchers in the
the one
palace.
responsible is dead, as well as just all the other innocent men.
All the others. It makes it's a very contradicting picture to the one that you painted prior, to where you were parading your dead child through the streets and labeling Rhaenyra as cruel, and then you went ahead and killed innocent civilians.
Yeah.
Otto Hightower sees this and is rightfully furious.
Oh yeah. Also trying to take a moral high ground when I'm like, Otto, you can't. There's no shot. You're like, I get it. You can take the moral high ground, but you of all people trying to put morals into this.
Well, I don't think that Otto is trying to take the moral high ground. I think he's trying to take the best political stance.
No. He is. What I'm saying is like his argument to the prince at first is like from a moral standpoint. He's like innocent men, you know.
Yes.
But I think, of course, I mean, again, I just love it. But yeah, because Otto's like, he's so flabbergasted at this. Like, how could this have happened?
Yeah.
Who let this happen?
Yeah.
Why was I not why was I not able to counsel?
Why were you the one that I
grandson?
decided to take over the crown?
Honestly, but yeah, no. When Otto he insults Aegon too, and Criston Cole's like, careful who you're speaking to. This is your king. Blah blah blah. But Otto, and I was like, this is my fucking dumb grandson. Yeah. I will talk to him however I please.
He's an idiot.
He's a fucking moron. This is kind of on him because he's the one who allowed this to happen. He allowed, this is his fuck up in a way.
Yes.
He's just going on this tirade, and then he goes to like thinks about Viserys. What of your father's dignity?
Yeah.
And Aegon's like, fuck dignity.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, fuck, okay.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I just.
The good old days of easily running the country with Viserys, how he misses those days. He even says Aegon says like, my father is dead, and is like, yeah, and we're all worse off for it.
Yes, we're all worse off for it.
Yeah, literally the second Viserys dies, everything goes to crap. Make fun of Viserys all you want. He kept the realm at bay.
I do love when Aegon's like, give me your, or like, take off your pin. And Otto's like, you can't be serious. You wouldn't fucking dare.
Yeah.
And Aegon's just like, oh, I have dared. And I find it quite stimulating. Or something like that.
It's exactly that, actually.
And then, okay, the dumbest fucking move. Aegon's like, Criston Cole will be my hand. I'm like, what? What?
I wish someone would just like yell in the background like, he's begging your mom, like
and even before that, same scene, but before that, when Aegon just like, well, Criston Cole has acted, Otto's like, and what has Sir Criston Cole done? He's like, he sent Sir Eric to kill Rhaenyra. And Otto's like, the same thought process that I had. He's like, alone? He's like, he will pose as his twin brother. And Otto's just like, God's help us.
Yeah. He's like, oh my gosh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
God's help us.
And like, this is why this is his episode.
Yes.
Because he's just like, God almighty.
He has the
like,
best reaction.
You idiot. You're an idiot. Like, he turns around like, God's help us all.
Yeah.
And like, but oh my, like, he's thinking like, that's the dumbest thing that you could have ever done.
And when Otto goes to leave, Aegon, so petty. He's just, okay, because in his mind, he's like, I will not let Otto leave on his terms, right? I will not give him power. He's like, you are dismissed. And Otto's like, oh my God, I hate him. But for, like, I understand why he's
It all makes sense.
Yes.
He's a young, petulant child.
Yes.
He wants revenge. He doesn't, like, he wants the instant gratification because he's the king.
Yep.
And he's grown up in royalty. He wants the instant
Yes.
gratification. He's not thinking of strategy. He's not thinking
No.
of the wisest political move. He just wants, oh, we got to kill them now. We got to do it now. We got to do it. And he's like, it's almost like, and like Daemon's more cunning, obviously, but Daemon is like, oh, we have to act. We have to act now. And it's that acting thing. And you're not thinking. You're not thinking of the next political move. You're not like Otto Hightower.
This is where things got a little dicey for me. I'm not going to lie. When Rhaenyra lets that one chick go, she's so unimportant to me, I forget her name. Daemon's side piece at the time.
Yeah.
When she's let go, she sees Eric with an A. She's like, what? And then there's the scene where like he sees his brother from afar. He hides behind the wall, waiting for Eric with an E to pass him. And Eric with an A takes off his helm. Makes sense because his brother doesn't walk around with the fucking helmet on.
Right.
Makes total sense. My issue is that, so they already walked past each other, right? The next scene roughly is one of the Erics walks past the other one who's hiding. And if it's supposed, okay, so
That's where it gets confusing because now they look.
it doesn't even matter which brother is who,
Yeah.
because it doesn't make sense regardless. So if the second encounter, the one who was hiding, was the bad brother, Eric with an A, right? He already walked past his brother. So what's the layout of this fucking castle?
Doesn't make any sense.
How did this happen?
Yeah.
I have no explanation for it. Now, you're going to be like, well, obviously it was Eric with an E then, because he noticed something was amiss. So he's hiding and, he took a different path and he's just waiting in, ambush or just to, whatever, right? The Eric with an E is the one who's hiding. Mm-hmm. And he does see his brother walk past him, but then he just walks the separate way. He doesn't slowly follow. Mm-hmm. He walks the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, what? So wait, so he can't be good guy Eric, because like, obviously he'd be like, brother, why are you here? Why are you sneaking around? Because this does not look good.
Yeah, brother.
It's just fucking confusing. I don't understand what the fuck is going on. I'm just fucking confused.
If House of Dragon was a bad show, then this would just be another bad on top of the bad. There's a lot of bad shows, Disney-related, Star Wars-related, MCU-related, that have terrible editing. Mm-hmm. Editing that doesn't make any sense. Editing that's fast for the sake of being fast. Editing that's trying to cover up things. Mm-hmm. House of Dragon does not have that. House of Dragon, we've just discussed a bunch of great, well-edited, well-written scenes. And again, I understand where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. For me, and this applies to a bunch of other material as well, I understand that part doesn't make any sense. And when I inevitably watch this by myself again, I'll acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And not care about it ever again. The rest of the scene, however, I thought was perfect.
Oh yeah.
They very much addressed the elephant in the room of like when they were fighting, like, well, I don't know which one's which. Like, which one's Eric?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were fighting, and so they fixed that problem by having them both die. And one of the brothers killed the other one of the Erics, and then the other one just said, which I assume was the good one, the one that was on Rhaenyra's
Eric with
side.
an E is the one who prevailed, because he referred to Rhaenyra as his,
that's why
Grace.
And so because of that, because of the grief of killing his brother, and I do think it's partly that, but it's also the understanding of I failed Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
I think that's why he took his life at the end.
Now, I will say, I do think, my own 2 cents here, not professional or anything like that, but I actually would have preferred if it was a bit more ambiguous. I think it'd be so interesting to like, have a debate over like who was who in their final moments. The reason why I say that is because if he had just said, instead of calling, referring to her as, your grace, right? If he had just said like, forgive me, right? And then he kills himself.
True.
I think either way, whichever Eric it is, it would make sense. And it would, yeah. Yeah, and it would be depressing either way. Because if it was Eric with an A who had won, right? And, his job is to still kill Rhaenyra. Well, here's the thing. He wanted the worst sins, which was kinslayer. Kinslaying. Yeah, he was a kinslayer. So it's like he is so overwhelmed with guilt that like he can't continue with this vile act. Yeah. Right? Because it cost him his brother's life. And it's like, I can't do this. And he just kills himself. If it was Eric with an A, it would still make sense. Because I could totally see this character like being so overwhelmed at the grief of having to kill his brother to complete this task that like he's just like, I can't do this. If it was Eric with an E, it still makes perfect sense and it's still just as heartbreaking. Gulp. Hey guys. Thanks for
Did you gulp?
Thanks for watching. Click on, I don't know if it's gonna be on my face, my left, my right, maybe above me. I don't fucking know. But yeah, click on whatever video we might have linked. Like and subscribe. Comment, whether it's hateful or praising. Send help. Please. Thanks for watching.